140 penalty minutes. Yeah, these teams don't like each other. What's up, everybody? Team Fanatic here. Hope you all are having a fantastic day, and welcome to another post-game reaction. In this one, I am continuing my coverage of this year's Stanley Cup Final between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. Game 3 has come, it has gone, and my goodness, was this brutal to watch, man. It was clear, it was obvious that one team showed up, the other one was nowhere to be found. The Panthers put an absolute beatdown on the Oilers in Game 3. They win 6-1. We got tons to talk about, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Coming into this game, now the pressure is on Edmonton. I said in Game 2 the pressure was on Florida. It was their time to respond. It was their opportunity, and they got it done. Now it's the Oilers' turn. And I was looking specifically to the Oilers' defense. Can they get to that next level? The Oilers' defense through the first 2 games, well, now it's actually 3, were absolutely humbled, humiliated. Now, don't get me wrong, the Panthers' defense in the first 2 games, they didn't have the best showing either. But the Oilers' defense through the first 2 games, I felt like their defense, they really allowed more of the breakaways, more wide open shots. So I was definitely looking for them to clean that up. As for the Panthers, they have momentum. They're back home. Although their playoff record does show they are a better team on the road, I was still looking for the Panthers to establish their tone in Game 3. And we did not have to wait long. First period, 56 seconds in, Liddell, he brings the puck around. It seemed like he was looking for Mikkola, perhaps, but there was a mad scramble in front. No one can locate it. Skinner, he gets out of position. Stewart, you cannot do that, man. You cannot do that. You have to keep track of that puck. Otherwise, it could cost you. Especially when Brad Marchand is on the ice. He scores, Panthers up early once again. And you know what? I'm going to call it right now. In my humble opinion, it's obvious, I feel like Sam Bennett, he is the obvious front runner for the Conn Smythe. I would put Brad Marchand at number 2. And if I had to pick a third, probably Nate Schmidt. He's racking up the assists. But for Marchand, Brad Marchand, with this goal, Brad Marchand, he became the first player in NHL history to score an overtime goal and an opening minute goal in the following game of a Stanley Cup Final. Brad also became the oldest player to score in the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup Final at 37 years young. Okay, I'll get off the Marchand train for now, but one thing that I will say, one thing that is for sure about this series, a series that has been unpredictable to say the least, is that, you know what, when one team scores, when it seems like the other team is winning big, the other team finds ways to respond. And for the Edmonton Oilers, they responded. I will get into what the possible consequences of their responses were. But in this case, in the first period, you're down 1 early. A similar situation that you found yourself in Game 2. The Oilers responded. And here they were trying to do that. But I'm sure it was tough for the Oilers to respond when they, especially Evander Kane, were getting all of these penalties. Evander Kane. Bro, I get the emotion, but at some point you become a liability. When you're just committing all of these penalties, you're getting all these stupid hits after the whistle. Okay, so first, Kane, he cross-checked Forsling. Then he caught Marchand with a high stick. And then 15 seconds after Kane's second penalty ends, the Oilers were called for too many men. If you're an Oilers fan, that cannot be a recipe for success. I mean, 3 of the 6 goals that were scored by Florida in this game were on the power play. Now, don't get me wrong, Florida, they had their fair share of penalties as well. I mean, in just this first period alone, both teams had 4 penalties aside, but at this point it was tough for both of them to score. Bobrovsky and Skinner were coming up clutch in some moments. And speaking of Bobrovsky, late in the first period, he gets absolutely clocked by Victor Arvidsson, so that would result in another power play for Florida. And finally, we get a power play goal. 17:45, Schmidt over to Rodriguez, and then he finds Carter Verhaeghe all by his lonesome, and he extends the Panthers' lead. For Verhaeghe, this was his 7th of the postseason, and for Edmonton, it's like, y'all did this dance with Florida last year. You know, they should know they cannot give the Panthers this many chances on the man advantage. They will make them pay, and they did. And it's like Brad said, like Brad said, use your head. Kind of like this. Right at the end of the first period, Lindell, he took a shot at Skinner. Bouchard didn't like it. Lindell punched him, and then just all chaos ensued, which that would be a common theme throughout this game. Just all kinds of just chaos. It felt like we were in like the Mad Max days. Like it was just crazy. So Anton was called for roughing. So Oilers would get a power play to start the second period. And a minute 40 in the second, Ekholm to Bouchard. He takes a shot. And then Corey Perry, the old man, getting it done again. He scores. Props to Chris Knobloch on this. I will give him credit, because I'm sure it was a pretty rough night for Chris and his team. But I will give credit for this. I like how he made his Oilers power play one that shoots the puck more. I mean, come on, like you got McDavid and Draisaitl. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't you want to shoot? So now it looked like Edmonton was getting back in this. But then a minute 20 after Perry's goal, Reinhart scores for Florida. Give the assist to Barkov for putting down Klingberg, and then Verhaeghe with a nice feed. For Sam Reinhart, this was his first point of this series. Props to him. And look, Edmonton fans, I'm sorry. It's about to get a lot worse for y'all. So in my Game 2 reaction, I mentioned this story with my mom where like if she's coming into the living room, and if there's a point when she's blocking my dad's view of the TV, a goal happens. Well, something similar happened here. So my dad, for many, many, many years, always thought that whenever he went to the restroom, something would happen. A team would score. And this has been going on for years and years and years and years. There would be some times when I'm like, Dad, just stay in the bathroom. Just stay in there. Because, I don't know, just whenever he's in there, something amazing happens. Someone gets a goal, and it happens again. My dad goes to the bathroom, and I felt really bad that he missed this one. Because Sam Bennett, he has one of the best shifts I've seen in recent memory. He gets 2 hits on Podkolzin and Klingberg. Then there's a turnover. Luostarinen and Sam Bennett, they're both skating down. And Luostarinen, he could have taken it, but he chose to pass to Sam Bennett, who makes the moves to fool Skinner and scores. It is now 4-1. Panthers, they were putting an absolute beatdown on the Oilers. They were getting their butts kicked. Probably the best play for Edmonton in this second period, other than the Perry goal, was when Wallman was just taking his water bottle and just squirting it all over Brian Boucher and the Panthers bench. And Wallman, I hope it was worth it, dude, because that's $10,000 coming out of your pocket. $5,000 for that, and also another $5,000 for a hit on to Chuck after the whistle. So, yeah, hope it was worth it, dude. All right, so third period. As if Stuart Skinner wasn't choking, as if he wasn't costing his team enough, he gets called for an obvious delay of game. Panthers go back on the power play, and they score again. 3:27, Reinhart with the cleanest pass of this entire game, maybe of the whole series. He finds Ekblad, and he gets his goal. So finally, after 5 goals allowed for Skinner, Calvin Pickard, he comes in to, I don't know, maybe spark something for Edmonton. But come on, like at this point, it was a smoldering ember. 16-10, Panthers had another power play, and it was Rodriguez getting his second of the postseason. Great slapper by him. And just speaking of slaps, Yeah, these Panthers, they just slapped Edmonton up and down and all around in this game. Once again, the Panthers, they win in convincing fashion, and now they take a 2-1 series lead heading into Game 4. So what happened here? What the heck happened? Games 1 and 2, it was so competitive. Edmonton, they were staying in it. They were scoring. They were disciplined. What happened here? What happened here? Well, a lot of things can be said. I'm sure there are a lot of opinions out there as to why the Oilers got their butts kicked in this game. I will sum it up by saying this. The Oilers, they responded to everything that the Panthers did in this game. But how they responded, that's what the problem was. Edmonton, I feel like tons of their players, Nurse, Kane, pretty much everybody, they were more focused on getting hits in on a guy that hit them or someone else rather than the actual game. And here's what was confusing to me is that, again, they've done this before. They did this last year. They know this is what the Panthers do. They get under your skin to chewing that mouthpiece all over the place, trying to spit in your face. Panthers are just so good at provoking. But Edmonton, they gotta stay disciplined. They cannot respond to it. Otherwise, stuff like this is going to happen. You get guys into the penalty box, and then Florida, they score because their power play is top notch. They played right into the Panthers' hands. That cannot happen in Game 4 and beyond. It just cannot happen. If you're the Oilers, if I'm Chris Novak, I'm in that room, I'm saying, guys, stay disciplined. Stay focused on the task at hand. And the Edmonton Oilers, they had tons of opportunities to get back in this game. They'll have even more in Game 4 and beyond. Hopefully, it'll be a long series for Edmonton. But I feel like their defense, they have to be more aggressive. This is the third straight game. They've been, they got their butts kicked on the scoreboard. As for Stuart Skinner, this is what was worrying me about him coming into this series. I said for Stuart Skinner, when he's on, he's great. When he's off, he sucks. And that was clear in this game. So Skinner, Stewart, my boy, keep that light bulb on, man. Stay on, stay focused. If I'm an Oilers fan, I wouldn't be worried. I wouldn't be, freaking out about this because, you're only one game down. I would be a tad bit concerned because it's okay, Panthers, it seemed like they figured out your team. They figured out how to shut down Draisaitl and McDavid, and it seemed like they know how to push those buttons. And if nothing changes, if the Oilers don't change anything about their demeanor, about their character, then the Stanley Cup champion will not change. Connor McDavid said it at the post-game. He said that his team has not played their best hockey yet. Well, Connor, it's time for your team to play their best hockey. So we'll see what happens in Game 4. But, fans, that is going to do it for this post-game reaction. Thank you all so much for watching. If you all enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and you can join our Fanatic Army. And honey salutes to all of you as always, and I hope that all of you have a fantastic day.